Hey everyone, glad you're here. My name is Clay Davis, Director of Outreach at RockFish Church, and it's time to get into the fray. Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm so excited. I want to go ahead and give you a heads up today. We're going to be talking about an issue that is probably going to be one of the most contested issues in this political election season. But I have with me today Felicia Mims. Felicia, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you a question, just straight out of the gate. Is abortion a political issue?
No,
No?
no, it's a heart issue. You can't politicize something that's your heart. Yeah.
It is. It is a moral issue that has been politicized, and I think the church, we get mixed up on this issue because I've actually heard pastors say, "Well, we don't get involved because we don't want to be involved in a political debate." And I know you're really active in 40 Days for Life. Do you see much political debate when you're doing your outreaches?
Not so much political at all. It's the heart issue. It's that, well, why are you trying to tell people, what to do? Why are you trying to tell me what kind of choices I can make? It's nobody's coming out there talking to me about politicians or laws. It's why are you getting in my business?
Right, but that's the big thing is I want to really hit that out of the gate that it's not about politics. We have a responsibility as Christ followers to speak up for those that can't speak up for themselves, correct?
Yes. I mean, it's kind of in the Bible.
It's kind of in the Bible. And I always go back to Psalm 127:3. It says, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward." And I heard a pastor say it like this last week. He said that baby is not a product of the parent's passion. It's a product of God's plan. And I thought, wow. And when you think about that, because we in this abortion debate, there's always this, well, we can't completely ban it, but where do we draw the line? And how do you approach that?
Well,
Yeah, see, I put you on the spot with that because I don't think we approach it, first of all, as a church, as Christ followers that are trying to reach the women. We're not worried about the debate. That's let the politics take care of that, right? We're trying to reach and help.
We're trying to reach women where they're at. And so when we're out there and we're talking to women, I mean, I'm not concerned about their politics. I want to know, why do you feel like this is your only option? What temporary situation are you in right now that is causing you to make a permanent choice? So is it, financially, you're just not in a place where you can do that? Well, your finances that's a temporary issue, and we can help you get out of that temporary issue. But this choice that you're making, that's got a long-term effect. That's a problem. So let's focus on not so much, how do you want to put it? Let's not focus so much on making it political. We want to, and it sounds weird, but at first it's not even quite about the baby. It's what is going on with this woman at this time that's causing her to make this choice, and let's help her get out of that temporary situation.
I'm so glad that you said that because we hear a lot of times the other side wants to say, well, you only care about the baby. What about the mother? And is that, from your experience, is that the reality?
No, not at all. We want to take care of mama first, because if we don't take care of mama, then who's going to take care of that baby? So we have to focus on her and make her our goal and our priority. So yes, absolutely, we want to save that child's life, but we want to save that child's life so that she's not living a life full of regret and what ifs and sorrow. I mean, I can remember, I always knew that there was some sorrow in my mom's eyes, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it until one day she admitted that she had had an abortion before I was born. And that haunted her for her entire life. And so when I'm out there and I'm talking to these women, I want to prevent them from having to look in the mirror and see that, just that sorrow that they think it's not really there, but it's there. It's all the what ifs, the missed things that they would have had. And we focus on her. And once she realizes that we are focusing on her, then it makes her stop, and she starts thinking, oh, well, wait a minute, they haven't really talked a whole lot about this baby. They're talking about me. They care about me.
Right, and that's really important. You know, I've heard it said that this quote is attributed to so many different people that it's hard to know who to give credit for it. It says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care,
Mm.
and so that's so as someone who is maybe their church is not active in reaching out to these women, or they want to get involved. How does somebody get involved with something like this?
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, a simple internet search of how do I get involved will work, and that is usually where 40 Days for Life pops up. And what it is, it's just a grassroots effort, and it goes beyond the walls of the church. I mean, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter if you're Protestant or Catholic or Baptist or it doesn't matter. You just we're all there and we're all together. And so we've gone beyond those church walls of, well, we're not getting involved because it's a political issue. And we sit that aside and we just go. So you go to something like 40daysforlife.com and you look and you see the stats and you see, oh, wait a minute, there is a place in my area where I can get involved and do something. And I don't have to have special training. I don't have to, you know, have some kind of special degree or know what's going on politically. I just have to be willing to go out and stand.
And outside of the 40 Days for Life campaigns, what about pregnancy resource centers? Is that a good place for
Gosh,
people to get involved?
there are sometimes you can't throw a rock without hitting a pregnancy resource center. You just don't know that they're there. So absolutely, you can get involved in those. And when you start talking to people and start doing those searches, you know, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or any of those places, you can find the places in your area. I mean, we've got them. For our specific ministry, there are 5 pregnancy resource centers that we are supporting, and those are where your women are going and they're getting the help that they need. They're getting life skill classes. They're getting people that are helping them with a resume so they can get a job. They're getting the help. So if you don't want to stand on the sidewalk and you just want to get involved with the women without kind of having to put yourself out there, that's where you go and you get down on the ground and you do life with those women and you pull them out of those pits that they're in and you become their community.
Okay, what would you say to someone? How would you describe the sidewalk experience, standing on the sidewalk? Again, we're not necessarily talking about interacting with the women because you really need somebody that's trained as a sidewalk counselor, you know, to interact with the women. But as far as just going out and standing on the sidewalk, somebody says, I just don't really think that's for me. What would you tell them? How would you encourage them to try it?
You won't know it's for you until you try. And you don't have to have any skills. You just simply go out, whether you're holding a sign up or not, you just go out and stand and you can wave at people and you can smile at people. I will say you need a little bit of a thick skin because you are going to get some salutes and you're going to, you know, get people that may drive by and, you know, yell something out at you. But if you've walked around a mall, you can stand on the sidewalk. It's if you like people watching, the sidewalk is a perfect place for you.
It is. It can also disturb you, and you watch people on the sidewalk. I was on the sidewalk recently, and it just really became disturbing how many people were driving by with the steering wheel in this hand and the phone in this hand.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I'm outside the car, can see that, but I know I'm a little off. I get that, but on the sidewalk, you know, we had a guy that decided he wanted to call us names and cuss us out, and that excited me. That energized me to be there, because if I'm being honest, you know, the scripture talks about persecution. Matter of fact, it says all that seek to follow him and live a godly life will suffer persecution. And that's the closest I've come
To being
to
persecuted.
being persecuted. You know, having been blessed to grow up and live in America with all this freedom. When I think about what is happening with our brothers and sisters around the world, it just seems to me that okay, somebody's going to cuss at me. Is that really? But it was, again, it was energizing. It was, and I know we have a lady that attends our church that she wasn't sure about it.
Mhm.
This lady has severe anxiety issues, and just, but she loved it. She was like, I've always wanted to do it. I'm scared to do it. I don't think I'll like it, but I'm going to go try it. And she absolutely loved it. So I think you're right. You say you're not going to know
You're not going to know until
you try
you
it.
try.
This is an issue that I think when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and a lot of people didn't understand what that meant. It just put abortion back in the hands of the states. It really kind of changed. And just real quickly though, the other thing we need to talk about in navigating this issue is how do we respond when now, depending on which numbers you look at, as many as 60% of the abortions are being done through the abortion pill. Mm-hmm. And that's bad enough, but now they're wanting to push it to online, where you can just go online and get it. How do we need to adjust? Let's not take away from the sidewalk or the pregnancy centers, but how do we?
So absolutely, times are changing, and it's kind of like it makes it not personal anymore. You know, you don't know who you're talking to, and they definitely don't know you. But that's where we have to use the resources that we have. You know, what did you do with what I gave you? Well, God gave us social media. You know, like we have all these different tools, and that's where people are. You know, they're out there searching the internet. They're checking TikTok for advice. You know, I'm pregnant. What do I do? Or how can I find abortion pills? You find these things, and you meet them where they're at.
And let's be real, Planned Parenthood is there.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's.
So that's where we go. We go where the people are, and you know, you're right. Maybe they're not all physically walking into the store at Walgreens, or physically walking into Planned Parenthood, but we do know where they are stalking and walking, and that is online. And so we step out of our box and stop posting cute cat videos, and we actually use the platforms that we have to give tools. I mean, I have this great relationship with this girl now who, she did go and she got the abortion pill, but there were people out there that were saying, hey, you know what? This doesn't have to be permanent. You know, you may have taken that first pill. You may have some regret. Let's help you because we can fix this. And now she has this beautiful 6-month baby girl. And she just, she would not change a thing. And she's so thankful that people were out there putting the fact that you can get abortion pill reversals done out there for her, because she wouldn't have the joy that she has now.
Felicia, thanks so much for your time. Guys, thank you for joining us. Felicia's going to be with us next time. We're going to get into some stories from the sidewalk and maybe a little into her personal story. I want to be clear. Abortion is sin, but guess what? Jesus died on the cross for our sins. So there is hope. Even if you've had an abortion, that's not the end of the story. There is hope. And so, guys, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. So glad you've decided to get into the fray. If you got any value out of this, if you think it's decent stuff, please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, if you need to send me any feedback or comments, you can reach me at clay@rockfishchurch.com, and we'll see you next time.